Hey guys, NCS Fan 001 here, welcoming you to part number 37 of Let's Play Destroy All Humans 2 on the PS4 to 100%. Last time we finished off both Tunguska and Takashima. This time, with 86% completion, we head off to the Navicom for the very last time, to the final area. We will not have to leave here once we get here. So, since it's the last time, let's see it happen, because the scene, I believe, is actually a little bit different. And my battery's low. So yes, the cutscene is a little bit different. You actually get to see him fly up to the moon, which is really, really cool, actually. And my battery's low, so I'll probably switch controllers between videos or something. Buttloads of Blisk. Huh, that's weird. The audio didn't work. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, because that's a really important, dialogue right there, but it literally didn't work for some reason. That was weird. I don't know why that was, unless it came through and I somehow didn't hear it or something. So, this is Solaris, the last area of the game. So, what do we have to do here? 6 story missions, 1 odd job, which is probably by far the longest odd job in the game. That's going to be the finale, by the way, because it doesn't unlock until after you beat the final mission. Typical 50 collectibles, 8 landing zones with 7 left, and 1 gene blend, but there's actually technically 2 gene blends left because we did not yet complete the other one because it requires people from here. So, let's see what our gene blends are. We need 3 cosmonauts for this one, and 4 cosmonauts for this one. Let's go ahead and get this done because it's actually quite helpful to be able to body snatch cosmonauts faster. So those are the only people here. Now there are 2 different types. There are the orange ones, which are the weapon ones. They have weapons and will attack you. And then there's these gray-green colored spacesuit ones that are pretty much harmless. They're like the scientist faction. Could have abducted Natalia there. That would have been nice gene blending there. Let's go ahead, and I think that's going to be enough. Let's see. Let's finish off the Blisk files. And out of Yuri. All gene blends are completed, guys. So we have achieved a 100% in that field. So now, all we have left to do are the landing zones, the story missions, the collectibles, and the last side mission. So, I want to get started here, though. This video is going to be focusing quite a bit on sort of going around the area and getting stuff done, like the landing zones. I want to try to get as many of these done as possible because the moon base is fairly big, so it helps to be able to transit around a little bit. So remember, though, this game takes place in 1969, so this is pretty advanced for 1969. Then again, it's also an alternate universe, so yep, I'm going in the right direction. There's Fear Tech Cell in there. Some of these are a little bit annoying to get to just because some of them require you to be body snatched to be able to access panels to get into buildings. Just like with the last 2 areas, there is going to be 1 collectible. It's a Fear Tech Cell this time that is not obtainable until you've completed, I believe it's the 3rd mission of the game. It's in that dome right there. You can't get in until later. What's going on, Argboodle?
Tough infidels with mighty implements with which to work the very rock of this tiny world. I am so impressed.
Alright, he wants us to destroy stuff as usual.
Smash their monstrous contraptions!
Yes, Argboodle. Yes, Argboodle. And they're destroyed.
Landing zone activated.
I guess he doesn't care about the rocks or the random little dome things or the pipes that are just randomly lying around. Or the fact that Earth vehicles are driving no problem on the moon. That's kind of an issue, I guess. Okay, so that one's activated. Let's head off to the next one. I wish they would start you out with 2 landing zones here, though, like 1 here and maybe 1 somewhere else, because it would make life a little bit easier. Just the transit would be a lot easier, because the moon it's a fairly big area. It's a very open area, for that matter. Okay, no, maybe that's not where... Oh, wait, no, it's at the back of it, isn't it? Yeah, it's alright. It's all the way at the back. So that right there is the Fear Tech Cell that we cannot yet collect. We'll get it later on. They also have sentry guns here. So let's remember something about all this is that we're on the moon. I don't think guns fire the same way in space, at least not fully automatic weapons. Like semi-automatic or any sort of action-based weapon should fire just fine because it doesn't need air or oxygen to cycle the next round into the gun. But just saying, that's a bit of a thing I think a lot of stuff gets wrong in movies and games and such.
My creation, they are way gnarly in my eyes.
So he's going to want us to destroy the spore pods, no problem. So yeah, still some spore pod stuff to deal with here. There's going to be Blisk here. There's going to be some infected humans, so it's not the last we've seen of all of them. And the cosmonauts can be pretty tough. Their weapons are actually pretty strong.
Fantastic! Landing zone activated!
Awesome. That is 3 landing zones down. And also the last landing zone here cannot be activated until after you complete the final mission of the game, the main story missions. So keep that in mind as well. So there's going to be a couple things we can't get just yet. And that's why, like I said, I'm holding off on the collectibles. Just because we can't do them all yet, so I don't really want to waste time looking for them. And they hide like 4 or 5 of them in this area behind the telephone boxes for some reason. I don't know exactly why they have to do that. I guess to try to be tough because it is the last area of the game. But yeah, this is going to be fairly simple for now, but we are going to tackle the first story mission in this video. So the first story mission isn't terrible, but it is pretty combat intensive, as a lot of these are, so that's sort of to be expected. The next story mission is actually pretty simple as long as you know what you're doing with it, because it has a lot of dialogue-based stuff to it.
Metabolism.
So, what
Sluggish.
would you like?
Can't wake up. Need ions. Badly. Use
Okay, so he needs ions.
ion detonator on idle.
That's funny, he actually tells you which weapon to use instead of making it a puzzle in this area. That's kind of funny, actually.
Ready. Landing zone activated.
Ooh, a gastro. Might need that later. Yeah, that's actually really funny how he doesn't use a, like, puzzle in this area, or on that one specifically, for whatever reason. It's kind of funny. So anyway, that's a majority of them. We're going to get the one in the center and the one at the mining site a little bit later on. So this is the only other one I really want to get right now before we start the story missions. Because this one is very, very out of the way and very difficult to get to. And we won't actually even be coming out here until probably the final story mission. At least not for the standard progression, but we will probably need to come out here. Well, I mean, we will need to come out here for standard progression. So, we are now in the Blisk and infected human portion of the planet. Or, I guess this isn't the planet, this is the moon, but whatever. So, this area is just crawling with lots and lots of Bliskies. So, we are going to make our way down to this Argboodle statue out in the middle of nowhere. It'll make transit over to here a little bit easier later on. I don't remember what this one wants. I want to say it's just shoot it with a weapon.
The winter was harsh. My sacred inner fluids are still frozen solid. Melt the obstruction with my superheated plasma. Ah, the benevolent warmth of a loving god. Accept this landing beacon in magnanimous thanks.
That's funny, I didn't even actually hit him. I guess it just counted the hits from the other enemies. Or from toasting the enemies nearby. So we have a Blisk warrior here. We're taking him down the way you're going to be taking down a lot of them. You take down the shield with the Zap-O-Matic and then fry him with the disintegrator ray. It's the easiest way to kill him, unless you have a gastro out. It's the easiest way I always found. Other people might have different strategies, maybe using the ion detonator or the meteor strike or something if you have ammo for it. So with that, we have done 5 of the 8 landing zones and all the gene blends, so we're going to cloak ourselves because there's quite a few of the anti-saucer defensive weapons here. Like I said, we will have to come back out here later on for collectibles, but that's about it. So I say we go ahead and tackle the first story mission of Solaris, and I will be cutting this little section out and meet you guys there. Okay guys, we have successfully landed, so now we can start the first story mission. By the way, the reason I haven't been uploading much recently, I've had a ton of school stuff. It's been like a midterm week. I've had 2 midterms, or not necessarily midterms, just exams as well as a quiz this week, so I've been pretty busy. That's why I haven't been able to upload much. Anyway, let's talk to Natalia, who's in her sexy Russian cosmonaut outfit with giant boob areas. Even though this is like an all-male
Nice
base.
of you to join me.
Let's hit on Natalia yet again.
Hey, Dollface, you seen my new weapon yet?
Da, Crypto. Very impressive.
Well, you know what they say. Big guns, large arsenal. Heh.
You know, that may be the clumsiest innuendo you've ever attempted.
Thanks, I wrote it myself.
Oh, that's great. Let's ask about our plan.
Okay, Sexy, what's the plan?
We must find a way to prevent the proliferation of the Blisk spores. Our intel shows the spores derive energy from massive radiation. We need to cut off their radiation supply so we can slow them down.
Okay, let's do it.
Radiation. Why does it always have to be radiation? So how do they get their radiation supply?
Their lunar rovers deliver radioactive
All
materials
right.
from the mine to the base. I want you to follow one of the rovers to the mining site.
Let's do it.
Is that all? I thought it was gonna be something hard. You got it, babe.
This mission can be a bit challenging, actually. It's got a decent amount of combat, because in a lot of enclosed spaces and a lot of other enemies and stuff. So, I would get in the saucer to go over there, but that's not a good idea, because we don't have what we need for that. We don't have the landing zone over there active yet. Oh, this is going to be aggravating, isn't it? This is going to be kind of a problem, because that rover's getting blocked here. And I'm afraid if I try to blow this thing up, it'll destroy the rover too, so... Oh, that's not where it was supposed to go. There we go, now it's out of the way. Hopefully now I don't have too many issues. Just move all of these things. We're PKing faster. They got grenades on the moon because logic. Actually, I don't know how grenades would work on the moon or in low gravity or whatever. This is a pretty awesome base, though. I mean, it could be worse places to live in, because you've got paved roads, you've got lots of lunar rovers, you've got communications towers, you have lots of rocks, drills, you have the whole base that we get to see in a little while. We'll be going there actually in the next mission. Mines, you got all sorts of stuff. So we're just going to keep following this thing. Hello, sir. You need to die now. I'll just throw you into the middle of the road. Maybe they'll run you over. Or you'll disappear entirely. That works too. And we're arriving at the mines. There is a landing zone in the area. We'll access that in a minute, though. And then there aren't any new vehicles or anything, though. The laser tanks do make an appearance here as well, sort of like what they did in the previous areas. Well, actually, not the previous areas, just in Takashima. Those do make another appearance. Collectibles here can be a bit annoying because some of them are in these domes or in the mines and stuff, so they're a little bit harder to find. It's kind of aggravating the way they put them, but it's not that big a deal. It won't matter too much in the long run because we'll be doing all of them in a single video as usual. And if this thing would just... I mean, there can't be any speed limits up here. Why can't it just go a little bit faster? That would make more sense, because, like I said, there's no way there's speed limits on the moon. It's not like anyone actually would care for speed on the moon.
Those conical gizmos must be the notorious Ursa miners.
Alright, we'll destroy them.
Built a tunnel deep into the earth in search of radiation.
I don't know what I know the Ursa Miner, that's got to be a reference to something, but I'm not entirely sure what. Which, by the way, someone pointed out to me that Sleepy Ernst from the previous video he was a character in the first game.
Uranium.
Exactly. Our objective is clear. Undermine those miners.
You mean kill them?
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, Sleepy Ernst is a reference to something, to a guy in the first game, he was a DJ in the first game. That's actually a really cool little thing.
Hyper-energized electrons can bring.
And we've got it.
The power! Landing zone activated.
Alright then, that's another landing zone active. So now we're going to be heading through the mines. This is going to be basically a bunch of tedious clearing out, lots of enemies and such down here. It's not the worst mission ever, but it can be a bit challenging just because there are a lot of enemies down here. Want to blow that up. Probably going to be using a couple gas throws here and there. And we definitely want to make sure the sentry guns go down first. Those are usually the most threatening things to deal with. You're also going to want to aim for those cylindrical or conical or whatever that's called things, because they help a lot. There's an alien artifact, but we don't want to collect it just yet. And these guys do a lot of damage, so need to be very careful down here. Be very careful about all that. Feel absolutely free to use mind flashes, because they can be a lifesaver, as we've seen before. Not too many times in this Let's Play, but they can be extremely helpful, so... we're going to transmog a couple of these things, because I need some ammo. Oh, that gave us, wow, a meteor strike out of a little box like that. That's a little unusual. So the only objective here, we just have to destroy 7 of these mining devices. Yeah, like I said, I assume that's some kind of reference to something either historical or video game related or scientific. I feel like it's like something scientific, like another galaxy or something, or solar system, I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up between videos. But 2 down, so not too difficult as long as you know what to expect. But yeah, there's a lot of enemies, there's a lot of these stupid sentry guns to deal with. So it's really not the best situation all around. Definitely gotta be careful here. But yeah, guys, we're actually getting fairly close to the end of the game. It's kind of crazy to think of. I can talk about it here because this is probably the most casual, least involved mission, or at least dialogue and story involved mission that's left. There's a lot of little invisible ledges and stuff that'll glitch out here, so you gotta be kind of careful about that too, and like the miners and stuff glitch out. Oh, that is a lot of enemies. Retreat. We're retreating. Retreat. Okay, finally it moved. That was getting kind of annoying there. Guess these small enclosed spaces didn't work out the best for the developers. So we're gonna pick up all of that. And is that... There's not another tunnel that leads... Okay, there is. That's what I thought. Just die, man. These guys take quite a few hits to destroy out here, even though you would think the spacesuits would be fairly weak. So yeah, we're actually getting fairly close to the end of the game, like I was saying. I mean, there's only 5 more story missions after this. A couple of them are really short. Like, the 4th one's pretty short, if you know what... Well, actually, no, never mind. The 4th one's not the short one. The next one's kind of short. The 3rd one isn't that long either. 4th one is a little bit longer just because it has another defensive section. Not necessarily an escort mission, but it is a defensive mission. Fry him. So there's that, and then the 5th mission is... pretty long, and then you have the final boss battle in the 6th mission. This game does keep with the trend of Destroy All Humans games. The final boss battle is notoriously easy, especially compared to other boss battles or the rest of the game in general. For whatever reason, it's just a common trend in these games that the final boss is always like a joke compared to the rest of the game or the other bosses in the game. Big Wooly Unleashed, I guess, is a little bit less so. It's more equivalent. Actually, no, that's not true at all, because you have the hate boat in the 3rd area that's actually really hard to take down. And then you have the whole rest of the game that's all very easy bosses and stuff, so I guess that Big Wooly Unleashed does kind of tie to that. That could have killed me, too, so we've got to be a little bit more careful. Destroy All Humans 1 is the whole outlier to the whole franchise, though, because Destroy All Humans 1 is a much harder game overall, unless you're using cheats the whole way through. So, yeah, there's that. And then, of course, there's Path of the Furon, where the final boss battle takes about 30 seconds, which is technically longer than this boss fight takes, if you know what you're doing, so I guess it shouldn't be the biggest surprise in the world. So we're going to jump into the mines again right here. We only have 1 more of these Ursa miners to take out, and this is going to be the only mission we do in the video, because the next one is very, very dialogue intensive, even though it's not necessarily that long. Next video, we're probably going to do actually 2 story missions in it, the 2nd and 3rd story missions, so going to make a good amount of progress next time, for sure. And get used to these mines, because we're going to be coming back down here later on in the game. during the very last side mission for a much different reason that's very, very time-consuming. Uh-oh. We don't want that to happen.
You have cut off the Blisk's energy supply. Now get out there and cancel that delivery.
Yeah, I will do that, Pox. Don't you worry. And we're going to have fun with it. This is actually one of the good times to use a meteor strike, because those things are a little faster than us. We don't want them to get away. So I think we'll have some fun and use a meteor strike. Bye-bye! And one last meteor comes down as well because it's fully upgraded. Awesome, guys. Mission complete. 8 Furatech cells. Let's transmog. Mission complete. That was not too bad. Just quite a bit of combat intensive, which is fine given that we are in the last area of the game. Cool. Alright, guys. With that, we have 5 story missions to go, but we already made a little bit of progress here. We cleared out some landing zones and all that good stuff. Next time, I'm going to keep transmogrifying, see if I can get a meteor strike, even though it really doesn't matter. Actually, I probably won't because I really don't care that much because I won't ever really use it. So, guys, next time we will tackle the 2nd and 3rd story missions of Solaris. So, see you guys then.